everybody for showing up today. This is our first campaign party, and it wasn't more than 3 months ago that this was just an idea between an old high school buddy and I that I might run for this office in the 5th District of Oklahoma. If you look at the Edmond Sun today, above the fold, there's an article about a guy named Dave White who's running for Congress in the 5th District of Oklahoma. I like to tell my wife that life is what happens to you while you're busy planning. And she knows that my plan for my life was to be a fighter pilot and land F-14s off carriers in the Indian Ocean. But that's not exactly what happened. And for those of you who don't know me, I decided in the 6th grade that I would go to the Naval Academy. Now that's a little bit early, but I stuck with that goal all the way through middle school and all the way through high school. It was the only college that I applied to. And if I didn't make it, well, my mom said I would apply again the following year. That was my only choice. She wouldn't pay any admission fees to any other schools that I wanted to apply to. You're going to go to the Naval Academy. That's where you want to go. And she was right. I went all the way through the Naval Academy thinking that I was going to be a pilot. But then the final physical exam that you take before you select what you're going to do for your 5-year commitment in the Navy, the doctor told me that I had 20/25 vision in my left eye. And that's all it took. My plan was over. And I had never considered, since the 6th grade, what I would do if I couldn't fly. So there I was. And that day is important for a lot of other reasons, because that was the very same day that Lisa and I had our first date. And I took her to the movies. And the movie that we saw was Top Gun. And she'll tell you that I did not say a single word to her the entire movie. And then I loaded her into the car and drove her home without saying a word and dropped her off where she promptly told her mom that she didn't think she'd ever see me again. So we dated for 9 years after that. And she watched me go through graduation at the Naval Academy. She watched me do this literal 48-hour transition from wanting to be a fighter pilot to wanting to become a United States Navy SEAL. I completely changed my focus and never looked back. And from that day on, that's what I was going to do. I was going to go to the most difficult military training on the planet. And in case you're wondering, there is one other retired Navy SEAL in the room. So if any of you guys have any plans, I don't recommend it. Matt, take a little bow here. Matt. 20 years as a Navy SEAL. I said 5 was plenty. So after deciding that I was going to go become a Navy SEAL, I worked my way to Coronado. And at SEAL training, I think you should know that that is the only military training where officers and enlisted are trained together. And they're trained by the enlisted. So when my class, 153, started with 105 guys, about 15 of them were officers. And a year later, 13 of them became Navy SEALs. 3 of them were officers. And they make SEAL training a little bit tougher for the officers for a good reason. Because they may very well serve under one of these guys, and they may very well have to take orders from one of these guys under fire. So you can bet that they're looking for true leadership out of these guys. They're looking for people that are able to make decisions when bullets are flying over their head. And it's no lie, because that's what happens. After surviving SEAL training and becoming a full-fledged Navy SEAL, I was fortunate enough, I guess, to get deployed 3 days after Saddam Hussein went into Kuwait to Saudi Arabia. I was on the first plane, and it was a sketchy situation, because on that plane was a bunch of pencil pushers and maybe about 5 SEALs. And there would have been no way to stop Saddam Hussein if he wanted to push further south. So it was scary. And we spent the next 8 months in country bringing all the rest of the SEALs in and getting them ready to push Saddam Hussein out of Kuwait. And the beauty of that war, the beauty of that situation was that we had a leader in the executive office that made defined goals. And when we achieved those goals, exactly when we achieved those goals, not a penny more. And God knows there are a lot of people that expected him to go further after we liberated Kuwait. But after we achieved those defined goals, I was on a plane out of there. And the rest of our troops headed home. And we could call that mission a success. Today, we're embroiled in 2 wars. And I feel strongly that if we don't define the goals, if we don't call it a war, call it what it is, then we need to bring our men and women home. We're either fighting a war or we're not. And these guys have been over there for 10 years. They need a break, and we need a break. So we support the mission 100%, we get it done, and we bring them home. Because we got work for them here, folks. We got a lot of work for them here.